And welcome back to another awesome episode of Carlos in the Class. Today's aim is reviewing what you know. So, like we say, today's aim is reviewing what you know. And so, we're going to start out with the vocabulary, and we're going to choose the best term from the box, and we're going to just write those in the blank. And I'm just going to write the choices up, and our first choice will be digits. Our next choice will be period. The next choice will be place value. Then we have whole numbers. All right? And those are our choices to fill in the blanks.
One blank are the symbols used to show numbers.
All right, so what do you think that's going to be?
I think that's going to be digits.
Oh, good choice. All right, digits, great job. All right, so let's move on to the second one.
To a group of three digits in a number is a blank. I think is a whole number.
No, unfortunately it's not. That was still a good try. So actually it's period. And I never knew that either. But actually a group of three digits in a number is a period.
Three blank is a position of a digit in a number that is used to determine the value of the digit. And I think is place value.
Ooh, great choice. Right? Great job. So the answer is place value. Place value of a digit is a position of the digit in a number that is used to determine the value of the digit. Great job. That's exactly what that means. All right, so moving on to comparing. So we are using the symbols to compare each number. We have our less than, greater than, or equal sign that we're going to put in between the numbers. So the way that I like to do it, which I feel like is foolproof, I like to line my numbers up always on top of each other. So that's what I'm going to do. So we have 869. We have 912. I like to write which even number first. We have 8, 6, 9. We have 9, 1, 2. I like to put them all three over top of each other. And this way, I just start with my first number. And I want to see which one is bigger. So is 8 or 9 bigger? Which one's bigger?
9.
Exactly. So 9 is bigger. I circle my 9, but I actually circle the whole number because that number is my greater number. So therefore, I know to put in the greater than sign. And that's how I'm going to solve each and every one of them. So now moving on to the next one. We got 9,033 and we got 9,133. So I'm just going to write both numbers. 9033 and 9133. Right over top each other just so I can see them. I'm sorry, I'm used to writing the equal sign, but you don't have to. Just you want to be able to see them clearly. So when I see that we have the same number, we just put a line right through it. Then we move over to the next number. Now we have a 0 and we have a 1. And which one is greater?
1.
All right, so we circle the 1 and then we actually circle that whole number because that lets us know that that number is greater. So I'm going to put my greater than sign towards the 9133 and there is my answer, and that's how I know I am correct. Moving on to the next one, we got 1338, and then we have 1388. And so now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look at the first numbers in the first row. We both have 1s, so we're just going to put our line straight through it. And on the next one, we both have 3s, right? We're going to put our line straight through it. And then now we're going to just look for the change. We have a 3, we have an 8. Which one's bigger?
8.
All right, so we're going to circle that 8. We're going to actually circle that whole number as well. And that lets you know that this number, 1,388, is greater than 1,338. All right, so doing the same thing, we got 4, 1, 7, 9, 8, 6. And then we have 417,986. And we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to look at the first number. We both have what? 4s in the line. So we put our line straight through it. And then our next number, those both for what? 1s. So we're going to go straight through it. And our next one is what? 7s? Are they both 7s?
Yeah.
We'll go straight through it. And what about the next number? Are they both what?
8.
We're not there yet.
They're both 9s.
Yep, both 9s. Then they're both 8s. And guess what?
They're both 6s.
They're both 6s, so they're getting equal. But they are exactly the same. Alright? Alright, so I'm just going to make a little bit of room. And so we got this one where we have 0.25 and we have 0.3. I like to put in another number just as a placeholder, just so it don't feel lopsided. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look at our first numbers and they're zeros, so we're going to put a line straight through it. And then we're going to look at our second number and we see we have a 2 and a 3.
This 3 is bigger.
3 is bigger. We're going to circle the 3. We're actually going to just circle that whole number. And now that we know 0.3 is bigger than 0.25. Alright, so our last one for this part here, we have a 0.5 and we have a 0.50. So we're just going to fill in a 0 here and a 0 here, just so everything feels even. Now we can look at it the same exact way, and we look at our first number, and they're both zeros, so we run our line right straight through it. And we see the second number is 5s, straight through it again. And guess what? Look at the zeros.
Both 0, so that means it's equal.
Equal. Great job. That's exactly what it means. It means that they are equal.
Kamal has 7,325 songs on his computer. Bimento has 7,321 songs on his computer. Who has more songs?
Alright, so we're going to do the same thing to figure out. Kamal has 325, and Benito has 7,321. So we just write them right up underneath each other. And we're just going to put a K on the side for Kamal and a B on the side for Benito. And we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to look at our first number, and they both for what?
7s.
So we're going to run a line right through it.
And the second number is both 3s.
Both 3s, we run a line right through it.
Second number is both 2s.
Both 2s, run a line right through it.
And the 5 is bigger.
Oh, yep, the 5 is bigger, so we circle that whole number. And so who has more songs?
Kamal.
Kamal has more songs. Great job. So moving on, so now we're doing adding whole numbers. So number 11, we have to find the sum of 10,000 plus 2,000 plus 60 plus 1. All right, so I feel another easy way is writing your place values on top, so then you can just easily put your numbers in without having to guess on what to do. So that being said, I start from the bottom, which is 1s, 10s, 100s, 1000s, and 10,000s, right? Well, actually 100,000s too, but I like to have them up there, right? So that's something that you want to put up. So that just makes it so much easier for you to fill in these answers. So now you can easily work it from whichever angle way you want to. And since we wrote them that way, we can go back in and fill them in that way. So these are the 1s. This is the 1s. What do we have in 1s? We have a 1. We put in our 1. And our 10s, how many 10s do we have?
6.
So we put a 6. And our 1000s, do we have any 100s?
No.
That's exactly why I like to write the chart, because sometimes you assume that you have stuff that you don't. So we put a 0. Now, do we have any 1000s?
No.
We don't have any 1000s?
We have 10.
Before you get there, what's this? It's not 1,000?
We have 2,000.
There we go. Don't skip nothing. So we put a 2. And in the 10,000s, how many 10,000s do we have?
We have 10.
We only have one 10,000.
1.
Right. 10,000 equals one 10,000. All right? And this is how you write it. That's 10,000. This is a 10,000, but you was with the 2. So you really say it like 12,061. Because if you were to add it, which we're going to do next, but this is just a way so you could, this is how I like to make sure I know what the answer should be. That's letting me know what the answer should be looking like. Now, let's add it up and see if I'm right. So, 10,000 has how many zeros? 4 zeros, right? 2,000 has 3 zeros. Tens has 1 zero. And the ones don't have any zero behind it. And so we're just going to do the same thing, and we're going to add them up. And when we have all zeros, just one number is just that number. And when we have all zeros and just that number, it's just that number. And when we have all zeros, it's just a zero. When we have a zero and just a number, it's just a number. Only in addition and in subtraction depending on if it's right, but for addition definitely. And we have a 1, it's nothing else. Just pull out our 1. Is this the same number as that?
Yeah.
So we know we did it right. And we double know we did it right because we put each one into place and we also made sure that our addition was correct. Great job. I don't know why I erased my chart, but I'm ready to begin. So we got the zeros, we got tens, we got, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000. Now you can fill in the chart either which way. You can start from the bigger number. So we have 20,000. 20,000s is in the 10,000s, right? So how many 10,000s do we have in 20,000s?
2.
Exactly. You put a 2 in the 10,000s. Now, we have 5,000, right? And this is 1,000. So we just put a what?
5.
Exactly. And we have hundreds. Do we have any hundreds?
No. Yeah, 4.
Please look first before answering. Do we have any tens?
Yes, we have 3. No, we don't.
Please look before answering. Do we have any ones?
Yes, we have 3.
All right. So now, that's what it looks like when you write them in the right places. Now let's add those up and see if we come out with the same thing. So we have 20,000, 4 zeros, a 2, and 4 zeros. Anytime you're in the 10,000s, you should have 4 zeros behind the number. Then we in the thousands, we should have 3 zeros behind the number. And we're in the hundreds, we should have 2 zeros behind. We didn't have any tens, and we only have the ones. And we're just going to line all of those up. And like we said before, if we have all zeros and just one number, then it's going to be what?
3.
Exactly. And if we have all zeros, then it's going to be what?
0.
There we go. And if we have all zeros and just this number, it's going to be what?
4.
There we go. And we have 1 0 in that number, so it's going to be what?
5.
And we have a 2 by itself, so we just bring it on down. And is that the same number as the number we wrote?
Yeah.
Great job. That is correct. 25,403. So moving on, we got 900,000 plus 8,000 plus 200 plus 70 plus 6. We got our ones, our tens, our hundreds, our thousands, our 10,000s, and our 100,000s. All right. And so we're going to start from the ones. I like to do the ones. So we're going to do the ones. What we have in our ones?
We have 6.
All right. Do we have anything in tens?
Yes, we have 7.
There we go. We got anything in the hundreds?
Yes, we have 2.
There we go. Got anything in the thousands?
We have 8.
Great job. Anything in the 10,000s?
We have 9.
In the 10,000s? Nope. No 10,000s. The 9 is in the 100,000s. All right. That can get a little tricky. That's why we're gonna make sure. That's why I like to put the place value first before adding up, and then you can know what you need to know about how much these worth. And that's very important in math. All right, and so now we're gonna just add that up and see if we're correct. So we have the 900. So therefore, we should have 5 zeros behind the 9. Then we have an 8,000. So we should still have only 3 zeros behind the 8. Then we have a 200. So we should have 2 zeros behind the 2. We have 70. So we should have a 1 zero behind the 7. And we just have a 6 in our ones. And we're just going to add that all up. And like we said, if we have all zeros, and then we only have a 6, what do we have?
6.
There we go. And then we have all zeros, then we have a 7.
7.
All right. And then all zeros, we have what?
2.
And then 0 and 8 is what?
8.
All right. Then we have a 0, so we just bring down that 0, very important, because we didn't have a 10,000. And then we have a 9 for our 100,000. So then that gives us an answer of 908,276. All right? Great job. All right, so moving on to the last one of this part. We have 700,000, right? And plus 50,000 plus 900 plus 4. So we have our ones, our tens, our hundreds, our thousands, our 10,000s, and our 100,000s. All right, and so in our ones, we have a 4. In our tens, do we have any tens?
We have 0.
There we go. And what about hundreds?
We have 9.
Great job. What about thousands?
We have 0.
There we go. What about 10,000?
We have 5.
There we go. What about 100,000?
We got 7.
And that's right. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, don't play. Now we're gonna add that up. So we got the 700,000. Don't need a comma when you add it up. So we got the 700,000. So that should be 5 zeros behind the 7. We got a 50,000, so that should be 4 zeros behind the 5. We got a 900, so that should be 2 zeros behind the 9. And we just have a 4. We're going to add that up. So when we have all zeros, and then we have a 4, it's how much?
We have a 4.
Yeah. And all zeros, then we have a 0. All zeros, and then we have a 9.
A 9.
And all zeros.
We have 0.
And 0, then 5.
We have 5.
And 7, we just bring one down. And we have 750,904. Great job.
Largest playing card structure was made of 218,792 cards. What is the volume of the digit 8 in 218,792?
All right, so we have the number 218,792. So that's why I say my way, I feel is a great way. So we're just gonna write our ones, our tens, our hundreds, our thousands, our 10,000s, and our 100,000s. Okay? And this works the same way. You don't have to guess this time. You just put each number in each place. So we have the 2 last, right? So we're going to put the 2 in the ones. We have a 9 in front of it. We're going to put that 9 in the tens. We have a 7 in front of the 9. We're going to put that 7 in our hundreds. We have the 8. We're going to put it in what place?
The thousands.
Yeah. We're going to put that 1 in what place?
The 2,000s.
And we're going to put that 2
In the 100,000s.
There we go. And so what is the place value for the 8?
1,000.
1,000. So that means the value is 8,000. Good job.
So 167, does the first 7 have the same value as the final 7? Why or why not?
So why don't you Go ahead and see who does it and tell them if they do. Barely see your numbers. So what's the answer?
It is no, because it doesn't have the same value, because the first 7 is in the 100th place and the second 7 is in the 1st place.
Good job. Guys, so that's the end of the video. I really hope you got something out of it. And that was just a review to see what you still knew. So I want you to stay tuned for our 5th grade flashback. And until the next time, it's never about what you don't know, always about what you're willing to learn. See you next time.